All right, I'm Jonathan Reish, and we're here at Brickworld Chicago 2025, and I have two games here. This is hopefully part of a growing series of games, and so maybe this time next year I'll have a whole table of games we could, maybe a game night themed display. But here we've got Settlers of Catan and then Battleship. So Settlers of Catan, I wanted to make something in micro scale. I hadn't done that with the kind of terrain texture, and I thought that seemed like a lot of fun. My first thought was the United States map. That was too big. So scale it down, and we'll go with Settlers of Catan. Now, I am not going to lie. I finished putting this thing together while the public was walking in this morning. So it's a bit raw, but here it is, and I'm glad people are enjoying it. One of the challenges with this is, of course, that hexagon shape. It's not easy to accomplish in Lego, so it's all about the wedge plates. And then, if for those of you familiar with the game, you've got to have the spaces between them for the roads, and that's going to be in that tan color. So that required a kind of a tile underneath, tile layer underneath, and then some of these, every other row of these is either on the studs, and then the other row would be on jumpers to get off of the studs by that half stud. Man, took a lot to get that all figured out, but I'm really pleased with the result. And then I wanted it again to be textured, to have some depth to it, and so I could have stopped at just the colors of the hexagons, but I wanted them to have that micro scale terrain detail. It was a ton of fun to make and design. And I say I finished putting it together and the public was walking in. I had designed this on Studio. Before that, I had all the pieces, but it was just a matter of getting all those bricks connected.
Now, is this playable in terms of moving the tiles around and that kind of thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, you could. It's not, maybe needs a little more work to make it maybe more user-friendly, but yeah, you could take the tiles off. If you had some cards, dice, and maybe some number tiles. And that was a decision I made with this, was to leave the number tiles off. I did have settlements and roads. This is set up for the beginning of the game, so each color's got 2 settlements and 2 roads out there. But I wanted to leave the numbers off because I wanted that micro scale terrain to come through and look more alive. And so that's why I made that decision.
What were some of your favorite elements to capture the texturing on the pieces there?
Yeah, so for each one I wanted a specific color scheme, and so this is just spending time looking at the tiles in the game and kind of translating that to Lego. So for my wheat fields, I chose the bright light orange and the yellow. And so for those of you who, like me, are a little colorblind, you have trouble sorting those colors out, so I may have had a little bit of help getting the right colors here. But so that way, if you're familiar with the game, you would have on these ones sections where the wheat had been mowed down, right? Sections where it's growing, and accomplish that texture by using a combination of studs and grills and tiles. Then for the sheep, I chose to go with lime and bright light green. A couple of pools, little ponds that those tiles would have on them. And then, of course, the sheep using different white elements to kind of represent that. For the brick, I loved the combination of reddish brown and dark orange. I thought that just really looked like the game. And for brick, apart from the or differently than the ore tiles, I wanted the brick to be shorter, right? And then also, instead of coming to those slopes coming to points, I wanted them to be capped off with tiles at an angle, because those tiles in the game have bricks, that are stacked up, and so that's accomplished with those dark orange tiles at different angles there. Of course, the wood tiles, got 4 of those. That's just green and dark green, and then some different elements to get those trees lifted there. And then for the ore, the colors I went with were the dark bluish gray, and then the white. And of course, they're the tallest ones, and they're coming to points to separate them from from some of the other terrain.
Excellent work on that, instantly recognizable. That takes us to the second one, also very recognizable here with your Battleship board.
No, it's been fun this morning because so many people, a lot of parents, grandparents, pointing out Battleship. So I think it resonates with people. They, people are like, oh, that takes me back to my childhood. So that's what I was going for. With this one, I was kind of going hyper realistic. So there's not a stud on this thing, right? Trying to get rid of all the studs. So that's accomplished with tiles. We got slopes, curved slopes on the top, and then using these little panel elements to create those trays where the pins would go. And then when thinking about how to do the board itself, thinking about what colors to use. I ended up settling on using this dish element in trans light blue because that gave that round look that the game would have. And then I backed each of those with a 2x2 medium azure jumper to get that blue color. And I'm really happy with the way that came through. When I first showed this to people, they didn't know it was Lego. People would see it sitting around in my house, and then they thought it was real, and I said, no, it's Lego, and then they take that closer look. So the thing that inspired this was this candlestick piece. It's been around for a while in white, and when it came out in red, that was the thing that settled, I got to do Battleship. It's just too perfect. And again, this morning people are coming by and they can't believe that's a Lego element, and I pointed out to it, no, it's real Lego. Everything there is Lego. And then the ships, it was just a matter of sitting down with, I made them in studio, so sitting down with studio and looking at what the ships look like in the game, trying to get some of that texture on the top of them, using some clips and tiles and that sort of thing. And then also got to make sure they have the right number of open studs to function in the game. So that carrier's got to have 5, and that submarine's got to have 3, and so on. So it was a lot of fun. Using different, again, snot bricks to get those slopes on their sides, to get the curve of the ships, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Excellent work on both of these. Thank you so much for all your work bringing these out to the show and taking us through the builds.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.